Aaron Porter. I'm now a higher education consultant, and I was previously president of the National Union of Students. I think the programme that we've got at this conference really captures the big debates that are facing higher education. There are some debates that are specific to particular countries, but there are also some debates and some turning points which are relevant right across the board in terms of the countries that Into is working with and indeed in. So I think it's been really insightful to hear some of the contributions and some of the speakers that we've had. I think the contributions from the floor have been really thoughtful and indeed thought-provoking. So I think it's been a really helpful time to come together at such an opportune moment when some big decisions are being made about where next and how to overcome some of the challenges that institutions and students are facing.
And the theme is Stronger Together. For you, why do you think it's so important for higher education institutions to work closer together, especially in the current climate, like you said, the amount of challenges that are facing the sector at the moment?
I think the direction of policy, certainly in the UK, is to kind of really squeeze institutions and make them have to work harder, and indeed in some respects in the interests of students. So that in that respect it should be welcomed. But actually the only way in which you can truly deliver on a high quality student experience is to garner the expertise from wherever it may best be found. And I think there is therefore a really strong case, given the work that Into has placed in partnership with institutions, really building up a head of steam and some expertise. And if you look at the iGraduate statistics about the way in which students rate their experience and then their progression afterwards, why wouldn't you want to tap into that expertise to bring it into your institution? So in that respect, the case for partnership is a very strong one, because ultimately I answer that because it improves the quality of the student experience.
And obviously you've got a lot of experience with the student experience in your previous role and obviously your current role now. Why is it so important, and why is it so important for people, especially in our organisation at the tops of universities, to really hear what the students themselves have to say?
Ultimately, the funding, the way in which institutions are funded, has been is now heavily centred around the student themselves. So, of course, it's important that the views of those students, both as individuals but also collectively, is heard loudly by the institution, but critically helps to shape the decisions that are made, where money is spent, and the strategy of those institutions. So it is important that we find forums to ensure that the student voice is put forward. It was great, therefore, to have a conference which dedicated an entire session to listening to the views of students directly. And I think the only way in which universities will be able to deliver on what they've set out and what they promise is to make sure that they're continually listening to the views of those students.
Aaron Porter, thank you very much.
Thank you.